into it. So let's hop in earnest. Transparent is the brand new album. So again, thank you for taking a minute out, and I look forward to getting into it. So before we get into this album, I kind of want to bring up what we're all living through, particularly here in America, with things that are happening between immigration and war and just a lot of stress. And as musicians, you're offering this level of escape or comfort to people that are in the audience. And I know it's comforting for musicians. How much of living through this modern era in America are you thinking about the way that you're creating and presenting and giving music to people?
Well, I mean, transparent is a direct response because it's a response to the transphobia issue and about, doing things, pointing fingers on something that's completely unnecessary and trying to distract from the real issues. So the whole album was, I mean, the music is all composed, written on the themes of what I heard from fellow parents in order to not bring peace, but awareness, awareness, and thinking about the issue, and yes, bringing us together. So in some degree, peace, but mostly awareness of saying, hey, don't look here when somebody's distracting you. Look where the issues are.
I think what's happening with the trans community is something that, the gay and lesbian community has been dealing with for a long time. Like there's this level of everybody's so preoccupied with a group that really doesn't think about everybody else. It's like they just want to live and be accepted like everybody else. It's such a strange concept. And it seems like all of that onus has been thrown on the trans community, and it's been thrown on them for political narcissism, so to speak.
Well, as a distraction, I mean, there's nothing more innocent than that community, and that's, this issue. It's not a choice.
Right.
We've been through that, and I had it explained from doctors. I mean, it's 1% of the population where your brain is pulled in a different way, and as long as you don't look like as what your brain tells you,
Yeah.
you're not you, and that's all. And that's basta all. And this whole finger pointing of, oh, you're doing something that's weird. I mean, it's just like having six fingers, or I mean, there's something for every gene, and pulling that out it's just silly,
Yeah.
and it makes endangers that whole population because I mean you see the suicide rate has exploded and it's already so high, and endangers them also because the homicide rate has also exploded.
Yeah. How long have you been thinking about making this album? When did the idea begin, and how did it kind of evolve into the actual project, the finished product?
So this is a Jazz Road creative residency project. And so, I've thought it through that whole application process, with that rise of that whole transphobia thing. So, you can count back to when this cycle started, and the whole issues exploded. So that about the last 2 years, yeah.
So, how did you pick the cast of musicians on here? There's a lot of talent. There's a lot going on. What was the idea of picking the players?
Mm. So, obviously my husband
Yeah,
on
right.
guitar makes sense. He's a fellow transparent. Actually, two of the sax players are fellow transparents, Joe Donnelly and Ted Nash. And the others are just really longtime collaborators, Tom Clark and Jeremy Allen. And Karina, we've been working together in the Sheroes. I think she's one of the best drummers out there, period. And I lost her in the pandemic when we were on tour with the Sheroes, and we had to disband in the middle of March 2020, and she decided to go back to her family in Mexico and got stuck there for 5 years. So it took us 5 years to get her back. But yeah, we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I ever send you the picture when Sheroes came out? I get a lot of CDs in the mail, and sometimes because I'll rip down digital tracks, I'll listen to it, and then I want to hand it off. And there's times where I'll hand them out at Halloween, but there was one year that there was a lemonade stand and there was a couple girls that were running it, and I specifically gave them your CD and they held it up. So that's been about 4 or 5 years ago. So maybe the seed was planted. I don't know if I sent you that picture, but I should send it over to you because it seemed to make sense.
I remember something. I'm pretty sure you
Okay.
said
Okay. All
it.
right. I probably did. I probably did. I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the songs. What was the idea? How did you go through your set list? What was the final tracks that were selected and why?
Right. So I'm gonna pull out the CD so I'm telling you the right things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I can walk you through. So the first one, well, I mean, all of them are based on the theme. So we did focus groups with fellow parents and just talked about their stories and their experiences. And I made a list of all the themes that came up and all the topics. And then I took that list and I put it on my piano. And the cool thing about this residency is that you can take 3, 4 weeks out of your life and you just sit there from morning till evening and you create.
Yeah.
And thank you for Jazz Road for
Yeah.
that. So that's what I did. So I went in the studio, I went in like 9 in the morning, and then just did writing and looking at the themes. And so the ones that got translated, so the first one is Look Out. This was the theme that came up where all the parents were just confirming what a strong new personality they were seeing once their kids transformed, this unstoppable, beautiful person. And then Transparenthood, that's Peter's tune, and it's just this rocky road
Yeah.
on something. Then Please Forget, that's another theme that came up. So that the kids, of course, request to not have the old pictures, the old name.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of all of that. And it's tricky, but it's their plea because they don't want to be burdened with, what was before. And so that's that theme of push it aside, get ready. And then shadow is that time where something's up, but nobody can really pinpoint. And so they all were confirming, there's this period and they have trouble finding what it is until they finally realize, this is the reason and this is who I have to be. And then Etch a Sketch, that was really cool. That came up from one of the parents. Yeah, he said, seeing our kids transform, it's kind of like the Etch a Sketch game where
Yeah.
you make a picture and then you shake it all up.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you have this new person.
Yeah.
And I loved that comparison. So I just wrote a bunch of lines and I said, let's just start and play them all, and you can play them or not play them. Let's just keep playing. And then on cue, we'll all fall apart and then we'll start over.
Yeah.
I even have
Yes.
to start modem startup sound in between there somewhere.
I remember that well.
And then Invincible is, again, is that new personality, unstoppable. That's, we can take them as a model of how you can stand up and be yourself and nothing. I mean, the worst things around you will not stop you being who you are. Some of us wish we could do
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
And then Sacred Earth is the idea. So that one I had already a little earlier, but this idea that we are on this earth and we are guests and we should treat it like guests and not owners. We're killing our environment and we're not responsible. So, and then Melody Erased, that's a direct hint for us because my kid started out as a melody at the name and then got a new name. So you have to erase that old name.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the most powerful on the whole album. At the end, we're reciting all those themes that came up, so you can hear them all mangled up at the end.
Yeah.
And then Dance in Harmony. So we have another kid, and Jasmine, Harmony is her middle name. And eventually she came to us and said, you're writing all these tunes about the other kids. Why are you never writing anything about me? And it was like, oh yeah, this is, the good kids never get anything because they're
Yep.
the good kids.
I know. Yeah.
So, right, that's what you get for being good, no attention.
That's it. It.
So we changed that for them. And bring us together, BUT makes sense, right? Of
Yeah.
bridging all these gaps that we have and yeah, we should get over this. And then we took an Elton John song, your song, because it's one of my kids' favorites and you know, it's Elton.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a beautiful capper. So 11 songs. So I'm curious, you walk into this project and you obviously have a lot, the magnitude of it is right in front of you. You're covering something that is about as ever present as it can be in our modern world right now. And you obviously have convictions for conveying different messages through the songs. But at the end of the day, you're a human being, and there's a level of this that when you make something, when you get into an artistic or a creative space, it changes you. There's revelations, there's growth. What ultimately happened to you in this process? The change in you from the beginning of thinking about doing this to having the actual album physically in your hands. What change did you make? What happened to you?
In terms of changes, I think this was one of the most deepest projects I ever got to do in terms of really thinking about the music and the impact that you can have. And one of the things is I grappled a long time of how I make this public because it's tricky. So if you're too clear, maybe you get on a blacklist, and I travel across continents all the time. Do I get stopped at the airport for being outspoken? And are people attacking us? I mean, they can easily figure out that it's my kid, and he's pretty public. So I grappled a long time if I should really make it clear what it's all about. And eventually I thought, I have to because, if we stay quiet, then we're part of the problem. And it's kind of it's our responsibility to do that. And if I want to speak up, then I should.
Yeah.
So, so I thought about it a long time and eventually said, okay, I'm going to do it. And so far, so good. It seems that it's actually a really positive response. And it made me grow as a creative, saying, hey, I have this uh, responsibility and the power to say something with my music. And I should use this responsibility, especially when it's needed.
And I think anything you create requires a level of bravery. It
Mm,
doesn't matter how sedate you might think it is. At
true.
the end of the day, you're putting yourself out there. And
Mm.
your message, as much as it's close to you and you look in the mirror every day, it's completely different to somebody else. So, that's what I've always admired about your creative arc is that like with Shiro's, you were kind of shedding some light on the females that are in the world of jazz that's male dominated, those kinds of things, those themes. And I think we need to have trailblazers like you that are out there that weave this narrative, that get us to be thinking about it, because at the end of the day, this community, these are real human beings. It's not a punchline. It's not something that's thrown out willy-nilly at a rally. These are human beings that are doing this. And for a lot of them that are going through these transformations, I can't even imagine how painful it would be to not only do the surgery and the hormones and all of the things that you have to do. Who in their right mind would want to go through that level of emotional and physical exertion, So there you go. That's your answer.
It's just not, this is not a voluntary thing and it's not a fashion thing,
Yeah.
and yeah, and there's no need for finger pointing. It's a
Yeah.
distraction, and I just want to make this really clear. People look somewhere else
Yeah.
and fabricate it.
So I'm curious, what are you going to do for live shows? The warm months are upon us, promoting the album, people that want to get a physical copy to support you, all the good business. Where do they go?
So yeah, so it's available from our website to order. So Monica with a K, Herzig.com. And I also put it on Bandcamp for those who can want to support that way.
Yeah,
And part of the proceeds do go to LGBTQ organizations too.
that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And
Um,
we're planning to tour, so definitely October in Europe.
okay.
And I'm working with Jazz Road right now to organize a US tour also.
Okay. Well, I will get all of these links in the show notes. I will let you have a chance to get that voice suit. I know it's that time of year. So thank you so much. It's great to reconvene. Great to talk to you again. I'm looking forward to profiling this on the show. Best of luck with the tour and the album. It's such a wonderful cause, such a wonderful project.
Well, thanks for having me. And if there's
Neon Jazz.